Hi, welcome back to Talking Trade. I'm Ian Coxhead at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
And I'm Sandi Spiegel, president of Dey. And today I have the pleasure of introducing Mark Rhoda-Reis, who is the Bureau Director. Mark leads of the Export and Business Development Bureau. Mark leads the Agriculture Development Professionals in the Agribusiness Center and the Economic and Innovation Center. And Mark has, it's within DATCP, the Wisconsin Department of Agricultural Trade and Consumer Protection. He brings to the role more than 30 years experience in both private sector and the public sector in economic, international, and domestic. So a wealth of experience and knowledge for sure. I know here at Dey, we've had the pleasure of working with Mark and referring customers to DATCP as a resource with export. So Mark, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your role and the Bureau, and we can talk a little bit more about what's going on in Wisconsin trade.
Excellent, glad to do that. And thank you very much, Ian and Sandi, for the opportunity to share this information with you. I had the good fortune of being able to lead a team of agricultural development professionals, both on the domestic side and in dairy, livestock, organics, specialty crops, a broad range of products, and as well, the International Agribusiness Center team. International trade specialists, professionals, and we've been doing this, which is surprising to many people, since the mid-1960s, helping companies grow their business in the state, region, nationally, and globally.
Thanks a lot, Mark, for that introduction. Now, we're all dying to talk about international trade, but let's get a little background here first. Looking at the domestic Midwestern economy for agriculture, prices are really high now. So year on year, last week compared with the same week of 2020, we've got corn prices up 100%, soybean prices up almost 100%, even dairy prices up a whole lot as well. So really, really strong price recovery, I guess, since the middle of 2020. But at the same time, of course, federal and state support for farm incomes are down. COVID programs have ended, trade adjustment programs have ended. So how are Wisconsin and upper Midwestern farmers likely to do in 2021?
We're optimistic. We think the year is going to be better. The latest data from USDA, their statistics service, really just has it up to 2019. So net farm incomes are up. However, they're down. They're down from what they have been in previous years. As many people know already, it's been a tough last 5 years. So we're really looking forward to things improving, but there's still some distance to go. If we look at meat and milk prices, for example, better than before, but we would still need more for folks to really be to the level that they were pre-2016, let's say.
Yeah, so I'm hearing a lot of optimism, or at least around this part of the state, from farmers that they'll be making most of their money this year from actually producing and selling stuff rather than getting compensation checks from the government, which is, I guess, a pleasant change for everybody, right? But let's turn our attention to trade. There's been so much happening in the last 12 months. We've had the after effects of trade wars, retaliatory tariffs, and of course, COVID-19 as well. What's all of this done to Wisconsin agricultural exports?
It's been a tough last 5 years, really. If you look from 2016 till now, just as our first quarter of 2021, and it's encouraging. So we finished 2020 up about a 1.4%, but we're still well down from where we had been prior to that time. At 3.37 billion, we're still off of that nearly 3.9 billion that we were in 2015. And we are, although ahead of last year, still behind some of the previous years. Interesting though, in the first quarter of this year, everybody's up. Overall, we're up. But also Canada, our largest trading partner, up around 4%. China, 80% up, and really great news, Mexico up 60%. So of those top five, and they make up nearly 2/3 of our exports, that they're up, and three of those markets are up in double digits.
Yeah. Wow. And, I know that there are a lot of policy stories connected to that, but I want to ask first about the China part of that story, Mark. I know that China has really zoomed up the rankings in terms of its prominence among Wisconsin's export markets. And a lot of that, I guess, is due to the rebuilding of their swine herd. So swine fever really decimated their swine herd. And latest figures that I've seen have them rebuilding that herd at roughly 30% year on year. Every month for the last 7 or 8 months. I guess that's led to a very big increase in demand for both grain and other products from Wisconsin. What do you know about that?
Absolutely. And the figures that we were hearing that were not the official ones, but it was closer to losing 50% of their swine herd. Pork is an important protein in the country, and a lot of the growing middle class are looking for more of that higher quality protein. Some of that came in meat shipments that we made, but they're also, of course, growing their own. They have a voracious appetite in China for foods, not only what they grow locally, but what they can import. So certainly those grain and whey products that we are shipping into China have increased, but also because of the earlier recovery than some of the other countries from pandemic, then their overall economy has grown up faster than some of the other markets that we're seeing globally. So that's part of what's pushing that really strong increase in the exports that we're making to China. It's an important market for us and will continue to be.
And I guess one thing I hadn't been aware of was that a very big part of the rebuilding of that swine herd in China involves imports of dairy protein, largely from Wisconsin as well. Is that right?
Exactly. That whey protein is an important component in the feeds to fatten those animals up faster and better.
And that's projected China into the top ranking of our dairy export partners as of early 2021, right?
Yes. Interestingly enough, that for dairy products for many years, Canada has been our #1 market, still is quite strong for us. But what's notable about that is that China's pulled ahead of them, largely driven by whey. We don't ship a great deal of cheese or other kinds of milk products. It really is that whey product, and in those whey proteins for animal feeds. We see that continuing as China has also restructured a bit their swine herds. So rather than many smaller operations, they're consolidating into some larger operations, which will be more efficient and also is a greater opportunity for us to sell those whey products, because those larger operations will be able to purchase those higher quality feed ingredients.
Right.
Exciting. So based on the products that you're seeing that have increased, both China as well as Canada, Mexico, can that be attributed to the phase 1 deal with China, based on the commodities as well as the USMCA barriers that have changed?
Absolutely. The phase 1 deal was helpful. There were concerns early on that they weren't really going to be able to buy the volumes, and it really is focused a lot on those grains, corn and soybeans, but also those whey products, not all whey products, but several. And so we've seen that advantage. There is some concern about whether that continues on just because of the current trade tensions. That's always a bit on a knife's edge that could go either way. But again, on balance, we're optimistic. USMCA was important because as part of those countries, if you look at the retaliatory tariffs that we had from China, from Canada, from Mexico, and from the EU 28 countries, those make up a major portion of our exports. And so that's what some of the major factor of what pushed down our exports, certainly in 16, 17, in through 18. And then of course, pandemic rolls in at the end of 19, early 20. And that's been causing those declines that we've seen. So the USMCA and removal of those retaliatory tariffs as a result of that signing really has helped to open up those markets a bit. However, there is a current issue with Canada and the tariff rate quotas under USMCA.
And we've got about a minute left, Mark. So that's just about long enough to talk about what's going to happen over the long term. What do you think? What are the areas of growth, future growth for Wisconsin agriculture and agricultural processes? What countries, what products, and what are the headwinds they'll face?
We ship a lot of products overseas, from food, forestry, and agricultural products, from wood products to prepared sauces to prepared vegetables to meat products. It's an extremely broad range of products, actually. Certainly Canada, we're hoping that Mexico continues its recovery and growth because those are the two largest typically important markets. Asia, China being a leader in that, but also Japan, Korea. And then into the EU 28 markets, we still have some strong opportunities in several of those areas. So we're looking forward to, across the board, each country is a bit different, but across the board to be able to see those increases throughout the year. It won't be extremely strong. We don't think, at least for this year, 22, we believe will be a much stronger year. But what we're seeing in those projections are that 21, so far, knock wood, will be a better year than last year. Although still we need to catch up quite a bit from the last few. And I just would like to mention that in the efforts to try to grow those exports, that we're extremely encouraged by the proposals in the legislature right now for further funding to help Wisconsin grow its food, forestry, and agriculture exports.
Absolutely. And again, I can say firsthand, you've been a great resource for the state and local exporters and a great resource in helping them build their businesses and volume. So thank you for that. Great talking to you today, Mark, and thank you for joining us on Talking Trade.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Good.
Bye-bye.